Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
Car. You know, roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have,
you'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns. What's right?
Yeah.
I want the man's coolant.
and he's like, "Oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light."
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West.
Internet.
You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
Welcome back to Auto Off Topic. What's up, Brad?
Andrew, good evening. How are you today?
I'm good. I just before we podcasted, I had another car crash in front of the house.
Yeah, I forgot we chronicled that on the podcast. I think one happened on a podcast recorded the night before, did it not?
Yeah, it's pretty often. This was an interesting one. If you're in the Discord, you already know about it. Good reason to join.
Yes, a good reason to join. You get first access to car crashes in front of Andrew's house.
Yes. No charge extra. You don't have to buy me coffee for that.
Unless you drive the car, then you definitely owe us for crashing in front of Andrew's house.
Yeah, I was in the basement. I was tuning my skis because we might as well talk about the weather too. Getting a big rainstorm, a big snowstorm this weekend. Ski country's going to get dumped on. So,
I mean, it's just in time. Spring is here. Might as well get some snow finally.
I thought skiing was over 2 weeks ago. They're going to get like 8 to 18 inches. I'm like, I'm going to go one more time.
You know, you should come out here next winter and ski northern Arizona, because every time I see people skiing up there, and their pictures are always like fresh powder.
Yeah, powder's like a totally different thing than what we ski out here. We ski ice. So
Right, but you should come try it here because people absolutely love it.
Like, I'm not going tomorrow because I don't want to ski in the middle of a snowstorm because it's not that much fun. It'll be more fun to ski the next day because they'll do a bunch of grooming. But anyway, I was in the basement. I had my noise canceling headphones on. I just finished cleaning up because I knew we were going to do the podcast. I literally just texted you what time we were going to do it. Go upstairs, wash my hands, come back out, and you got to go through like the basement stairs, go through my front room, and I was going to the bathroom in the back of the house. So I come back out and I look out, and there's a car on my side of the street going the wrong way, like parked. The turns it on, it's running. I was like, that's kind of a weird place to park, but maybe they're just delivering food. So then I looked out the window just to make sure, and the car is in the tree, like crashed into the tree in front of my house. I was like, what? Didn't look like a hard hit. So I was like, all right, that's weird. And I'm like, there's nobody in it. There's nobody standing around it. This is weird. So I go outside. Yep. Nobody's around. Nobody's like laying in my grass.
You're in a weird parallel Cars universe where cars just drive themselves.
So I call the police. Like, yep. They didn't ask where I was. Now come to think of it. And as I hung up with them, a Land Rover pulled up, and the lady's like, "Is that yours?" I was like, "No, I just live here. I just called the police." Oh, she's like, "Oh, I just called too." So she must have also called.
Yes, they already knew. Plus,
and
there's been so many car crashes in front of your house. They have your name recognition going on.
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, it's Andrew again. Some dummy crashing in front of his house again."
Yeah, and they're just down the street. So then I turn, and she's like in her car. She's like, "Oh, there's the guy." This guy comes running down the street with a bag and a pizza box. I'm like, "Oh no, this poor guy was like delivering food, and somebody like stole his car or something." We're like, "You're all right?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like really annoyed and upset because his car is in a tree.
And totaled.
I was like, "What happened? Did you leave it and drive?" He's like, "I don't know. I put it in park."
Nope,
I was
he
like,
did not, sir.
"Okay." And right,
Yeah.
right at that point, the police like showed up. I was like, "I don't think you did," but
Yeah.
obviously nobody's hurt. I'm going back inside. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like it's like an early aughts, like a 2010 to 2013 Kia Optima. So the
yeah,
amount of damage on that car's not getting fixed. Hood, grill, right headlight, bumper, radiator
I mean
support.
the headlight was on.
Yeah, but it's busted. It's pointing in the wrong direction.
He could drive it around, do some more deliveries.
I mean, as long as his
Finds-
radiator's not leaking, he'll be fine. But
Yeah,
the insurance company's gonna total that car out
I mean,
for sure. It's probably worth $3,000.
if he puts a claim in.
Well, he's not gonna get an inspection sticker with a headlight pointing in the wrong direction. So
Yeah, I know what you and I would just bang it out and I don't know, get a junkyard headlight. It
So
seems
you
like
can't
they just
you can't anymore.
no.
Well, you can on some cars. I mean, if the right
Pick and
car,
pull?
but you could, but you couldn't put a headlight in it because where that car is hit is on the radiator support, and unlike the old man yells at cloud here, unlike the old days where it was made of steel, all modern cars have a fiber plastic radiator support which cracks.
Don't make them like they used to.
They don't make them like they used to, exactly. So I know those cars in particular have a plastic radiator support because I've replaced 1,000 of them in my days in the insurance or auto body field. But with the impact it had to that tree, there's absolutely zero chance that radiator support piece is not busted on that car. So it'll at least need that too. So that is why you can't just do it, because that requires taking out the radiator, the air conditioning sensor, taking the headlights out, taking the grill out, taking the bumper off. You have to get fog lights, taking the fog lights out. It becomes a whole process. So could a person do it in their backyard? Absolutely, if they have the skill. But more than likely, it's old man yells at cloud. It's 2024, Andrew. Nobody knows how to work on cars anymore.
Yeah, so it definitely looked like left it in drive and it just rolled off, kind of hit.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, or
I
even
don't
left
know.
it in drive and pulled the e-brake maybe, and then the e-brake wasn't
I
enough to
have no
hold
idea.
it, or because it's weird
Yeah,
because you leave it in drive, modern cars would take off so
It'll go-
fast.
I
You would
don't know,
not
man.
notice it.
And somehow it drove. So the restaurant he stopped at is like 3 or 4 houses away.
Yeah, it's like 500 feet away.
Yeah. So it somehow drove down the wrong side of the street, didn't hit anything else. No other car, no other people, because it was pretty quiet. It's like it would like happen at like 9:30 at night, and then just managed to find the single tree in front of my house.
Which is good because the trajectory that the car was at, it was pointing directly at your porch.
Yeah.
So if that tree wasn't there, you'd have had a Kia in your front entryway, which would have been annoying.
Oh, so weird.
So hey, welcome to the neighborhood, right? But that's probably like the 8th one since you lived there, right?
Yeah, probably.
Crazy.
That's the least ridiculous one.
Yeah, that one was not
far as
upside down
speed.
through 2 houses.
Yeah, because it's a 35, 40 mile an hour street. So if somebody was driving it, that's why I think if somebody had stole it, it would have been
They'd
hammered
crashed
into
it.
that tree.
Yeah, they'd have crashed it. Well, listen, my first thought anytime I see a Kia or a Hyundai,
Yeah, Kia boys.
yeah, with nobody in it crashed into something, it's like, oh, that's a stolen car. So I see why you thought it was a stolen car.
I had a coworker, her Kia was stolen with the USB.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm involved with insurance. I work as an insurance appraiser, and most weeks I get at least one of those claims. Sometimes 2
I
or
sent her
3.
the link to the class action lawsuit. I was like, you better go join that.
Yeah, get your $12.
Yeah.
So do we talk about the fix on here before?
I feel like we did.
Okay.
I forget what you said it was. It's just like it's got to be unlocked from the outside.
Yeah, if the window is broken and the car is locked so the car is unlocked from the inside after being locked with the key fob from the outside, the car won't start.
Still not a great fix, but better
hey,
than
it's
nothing, I guess.
something. It's something then like, oh, hey guys, here's a club. Like,
Yeah.
because that was the initial thought. Like, here's a steering wheel lock.
Can't believe they built all those cars without immobilizers.
Yeah, we did talk about it because we had an argument about when the last time cars had immobilizers was, and I was like, I don't know. I thought a lot of cars didn't have them until last year, and I was wrong.
No, it was like 2000. People started.
Yeah.
They started putting them in.
Well, I knew they started putting them in, but I thought you could still get a lot of cars without them. But apparently, I was
Some
incorrect.
didn't, but definitely by like 05, everything did.
Yeah, we had a
Honestly.
conversation. We figured it all out last time. Go
Yeah.
back and listen, but I was way wrong. That's what I know. It was only Hyundais and Kias that did not have it anymore.
So anyway, that's how my night started.
I mean, it wasn't your car. It didn't hit your house. The tree's still standing. It's entertainment at that point.
That tree's grown quite a bit since I've lived here too.
Yeah. Yeah, a little sapling we got knocked right over. But what's crazy is whenever I used to come podcast at your house, that's where I'd park. So
No, you usually park in the driveway.
it depended on what I was driving. If I had one of the old cars, I parked in the driveway. If I was in a modern vehicle, I usually parked in front of the tree. So like I didn't pull my truck in the driveway. I always parked that right up front. But nonetheless, thankfully I never got hit. So anyway, just a quick aside while we were talking right there. Do you know how much snow your snow mountains got this year in that area?
Actually, I do because I was looking at the app for the mountain I go to, and I think they said the season was like 59 inches.
Okay.
They've had a
So-
really bad season.
The season here at Snow Bowl in Flagstaff, 191 inches.
Yeah, but you've had like an unusual snow season.
But still, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
So they've had 34 inches in the past week. So there's tons of fresh snow here. So you should come trying snow skiing here. People love it.
I know. I get served ads for like shipping skis.
There you go.
Like, you can just like ship them, so you don't have to fly with them.
I'm sure it's a thing. It's probably also easy to fly with them in a case, I'd assume.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, you should come here next winter and ski here because I'm sure you would enjoy it and it'd be a different experience. And then when you get too cold from skiing, you come down here and it's like 65 degrees. And it's an hour and a half
that's
away.
probably pretty nice.
If I was into skiing, I could ride my motorcycle to Ski Mountain.
Yeah, that'd be a little ridiculous, but yeah.
It'd be trippy, right? I should get into skiing just so I could buy a vintage ski rack for one of the old cars to drive up there and go skiing with.
Sure, because I'm sure they still don't use salt to get up there.
There are some places that do, unfortunately, but most of it's fine. Plus, if it's one day, I'll live with it. Just wash it really good afterwards.
I know. I did notice one of the times I went skiing last year, I went with people from work, so I had three other people in the car, and I used the roof rack, and my skis got all corroded from being outside.
Or from the salt in the street?
Because we drove up in a
because
snowstorm.
they're bare metal, right?
The edges are bare metal, which is not a big deal,
Yeah.
but like the mechanisms, like the bindings, got all like cruddy, and they weren't
Oh,
before.
I didn't think about that. So you probably, if you got to put them on your roof, you should pre-spray them with some kind of a fogging spray.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I would I just get a roof box for next time if I.
Sure.
It's not often I have to put that many skis in the car, so.
Oh, anyway, I've never been skiing, so I'm obviously not going to do it just for the photo op of the skis in the roof of my car. So
It's fun. You should try.
I tried snowboarding once. It did not end well.
Snowboarding is not the same. It's totally different, and I don't know. Unless you know how to skateboard, it's probably hard to snowboard.
Yeah, it was very difficult,
Because
and I was able to. The reason we went was we got a really good deal on a rental and a lesson and a lift pass. This is many years ago. It was a year I graduated high school. And we went to the mountain, and the only hills that were open were like the bunny hill where they teach the lesson, which nailed it. It's totally easy on the bunny hill. But then there was no like easy trails open. It went right to intermediate. And I just died 16 times. So
it's
not a
not
pleasant day.
I don't know why people are like, especially back then, it was really popular to go snowboarding, and it was like, oh man, this is going to take over, and everybody's just going to be snowboarding, no more skiers, and now it's kind of like 50-50 again. But and at the time, I remember it, people were like, oh, it's so much easier you learn snowboarding, just learn it. And I tried it, and I was like, this sucks. I can't Because your feet are stuck together. I'm like, I can't. My brain cannot process having my feet attached to the board.
Well, that's why people said, like, when they asked if I'd ever skied before, I said, no, I've never gone skiing. And he said, all right, so you're the perfect candidate to try snowboarding first because it's easier if you aren't unlearning how to ski.
False.
And of course, at the time, I was all hyped up on cool boarders for PlayStation. So I was like, yeah, I could go snowboarding. Why not? But anyway, I did it once. I hated it. I've never gone back.
Skiing is a much more natural feeling because you use both legs, you just stand shoulder width apart. If you just kind of lean, it's much easier than snowboarding. It makes more sense to my brain.
I have decent health insurance now. Maybe I'll give it a go. But last time somebody offered me to go, I did not have decent health insurance.
French fry. Pizza, French fry. Pizza, French fry.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it a go. Hey,
down.
If you want to come out here and go skiing here in Arizona, maybe I'll give it a go with you.
All right.
So
maybe you should come ski here.
That sounds lame. Anyway, it's colder there. That's nope.
Jinx.
What are you talking about tonight? Project car updates?
I don't know.
We got car event stuff.
You must have project updates.
What's going on? I think I do.
There was a NASCAR race. The tires fell apart.
Yeah, that was last
week. That real quick.
Yeah, we'll be quick on it though, because
they're at COTA this week, which is really exciting.
COTA is going to be awesome.
I want to see that race.
Super stoked for COTA.
Yeah, they're at Bristol last week.
Did they run there before?
Which
not a few years ago, they ran at COTA.
At COTA, right? They've run the last 3 years.
Did they run last year?
Last 3 or 4 years, yeah, they've run.
I don't remember.
At least since 2020. That was Chastain's first win. Was the first time they were at COTA.
Okay. I do remember that now, yeah. I was trying to think.
I think Reddick won last year. All right. Yeah, we apparently had a car crash in the internet there for a second. I was trying to figure out if was it Tyler Reddick or Ty Gibbs that won COTA last year.
Ty Gibbs has never won a race, so
okay, that was Tyler Reddick. And what I was saying was the Monster Energy cars always confuse me because there's two, but they're different teams.
That's very confusing. Yeah, that shouldn't be a thing, I don't think. But whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Bristol
would be the same team.
Yeah, Bristol was last week.
It was. So, and Bristol the past few years for the spring race has been a dirt track.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, but
yeah, apparently other people have not. But whatever, I always liked it. But anyway, they went back to the pavement, or I guess I should say concrete, for this spring event. And they had tried a different traction compound in the lower groove. And the combination of those things is the official reason they gave for the tires literally falling off the cars.
Like blowing off the cars.
Like 40 laps, they were showing cords. And then they went from being like totally fine to blowing off the car in like a minute.
Like watching it live, or I was like basically live, you watch the DVR, give it a little break because there was a lot of commercials. And they're getting to like 40 laps and like cars are just like falling off. And then all of a sudden like tires are blowing and they're like, what is happening? And yeah, the things were like cording. And then like you're watching the race go on and they're like, man, this is really weird. We're like running out of tires. Like we were literally going to run out of tires.
Yeah. They only had 9 sets to go 500 miles.
Yeah.
500 laps. What is it? 300 miles, 500 laps, something like that. I don't know.
Whatever it was.
And they can only go 40 of time. 40 laps at a
500
time.
meters, whatever measurement was this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So NASCAR gave them new tires, or a new set of tires.
Yeah, one fresh set per team. So they had 11 total with their stickers.
Yeah, teams were recycling scuffs.
Yeah. But hey, they made it, and it wound up to be a pretty good race. So the official explanation, like I said, was the combination of the concrete and the traction compound being not something they've used before. So one of the things, though, that NASCAR has been trying to do is to have Goodyear make a tire that shows tire wear.
Yes.
Because the tires haven't been wearing.
They were just too good.
That whole strategy of knowing how to not outdrive your tires has been gone this season, end of last season. So Goodyear was like, all right, we'll make them wear. And they did.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. And they did.
Gumdrop tires.
I was listening to the Denny Hamlin's podcast, Actions Detrimental.
Yeah, I did listen to that one.
He said that his thought isn't the fact that it was just a traction compound. He says that he's seen tire fall off like that before when it's just not warm enough, because the tires are designed to be run on a hot track so that they gum up and get sticky. But since the track wasn't hot enough, he thinks that it was just acting like a cheese grater and ripping pieces of rubber off the tire instead of being gummed up and sticky.
The marbles were ridiculous. Like,
it looked like a beach in Nahant.
I'd never seen it like that, and they were even saying that too. They're like, "We've never seen anything like this before."
Piles of rubber.
I was explaining to Stephanie because the low groove, because the traction compound had black rubber. I was like, "Yeah, normally that groove should extend up. It should start to get black all the way up the racetrack as they go on."
Correct, because the tire is so sticky and gummy that it puts the tire actually into the concrete, and it makes the whole lane sticky. But instead of that happening, because it wasn't hot enough, according to Hamlin, and I trust Hamlin more than the official word of NASCAR, they were just pieces of tire were just falling off and not sticking. They were just flying up the racetrack into piles on the side. So that's what happened. And Hamlin won the race, so he knows what he's talking about.
And it's cool because I when they did the dirt race, you could actually see that rubber groove in on dirt.
Yep,
too
on the dirt.
Yeah. But they're not wrong. They do need to have tire wear, but that was a little too much. But it was interesting.
For sure. Yeah, a little less than that would be great. Something that gets like 40 laps of your top lap times and then another 20 laps as it wears out would be perfect. Not 40 laps of your top lap times and then like you got a lap and a half to get in there, your tire falls off. That was a bit much.
So, but
yeah, it was
it was like you could see like guys started to slow down. A guy would come in for fresh tires and just absolutely cut through the field.
Yep.
And run up front. And they had 54 lead changes. It was ridiculous.
Like that. Absolutely ridiculous. A record for a short track. So it wound up being a very good race. And what you saw at the end was all of the top five were all experienced drivers pretty much. Yep. They're guys that have been around for a long time that knew how to take care of their tires. They knew what to do. They knew how to adjust their driving so they could still be fast, but not wear out the tire and get an extra 5 or 6 laps out of that same tire that the last guy couldn't get out of it. And that's how Hamlin won the race. So, listen, that's the 5th race so far this year, and it's been 5 different winners. So I don't think anybody's going to make it in the playoffs on points this year. So it's going to be all winners.
Yeah.
So it was a good race, but I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it was a very enjoyable race, and man, if NASCAR doesn't get you excited this season so far, I don't know what would. So it's been good.
Oh, well, we can't forget Sebring. That was the Sebring 12 hours was Saturday. The Sebring 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 hours Sebring. Yep. I did forget about that.
Yeah, because it was like that was also a really good race. Like there was a lot of racing that was good for a few hours, and then the last 6 minutes was ridiculous between the GTP cars.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not get to watch it because I was busy Saturday. But
but you watched it afterwards.
I watched the 30-minute YouTube preview that they put up, and that that gave me the crux of what I was supposed to watch. So that was good. But yeah, the racing was amazing, and for the final 6 minutes of a 12-hour race to come down to that kind of distance was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Cadillac threw themselves out of it early, so literally threw themselves up over the tire barrier.
Yeah, but the other Cadillac was battling for first at the end.
Yeah, the other Cadillac was good.
So
the red Cadillac did itself no favors.
Yeah, that was a bad wreck.
Bizarre. Yeah, just literally was like, I'm done. Just fly out of here. It's fine. But no, it was a cool race. What I saw was good. Like I said, they do a pretty good job with those recaps of showing you the battles, showing you the incidents, showing you some of the pit strategies that happened. I had to feel bad for Catherine Legg because she was just her team was just taken out.
Yeah.
Like it was no fault of hers in that one. That was just total annihilation for no reason at all. So
Yeah, I mean that's the risk of multi-class racing. I mean, you were watching that battle, the GTP cars at the end, where they're like splitting GT cars. It was
and
ridiculous.
it was so cool at nighttime too, with the helicopter tracking shots.
Yeah,
With just the cars like streaking through the field. So cool. Like you watch them be side by side, and then you watch one like throw out anchor because there was a a GT car in its way,
mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it was cool. It was very
Just
very
lost
cool to
the
see
line.
that
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, I watched it. There was a ton of cool Sebring coverage because there was tons of races there last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and they filmed all of it and they put recaps of all of it on. So I watched like the Miata race, and there's a couple others that I watched that were pretty good. So they're all on YouTube, so check them out if you haven't seen them.
It's a good race to go spectate. It's cool. It's like just a wild place. I got to go there a few years ago. It's definitely I would say the two best racing products right now are IMSA and NASCAR.
As far as American racing goes, yeah, probably. At a
Yeah.
professional spectator level, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, to like watch. WEC is okay. It's similar cars to IMSA, but
To the uninitiated, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, but it's the part of it. There's an argument that it's some of the older tracks that we use here because they're narrower. The cars look and present faster on TV because they don't have huge runoffs.
Sure.
Like that's gonna be the problem at COTA. It's not gonna look super impressive, I don't think, because it's such a huge track with a lot of runoff.
Yeah, it's a Formula One track.
Yeah, it's all FIA
So.
top standard, so it won't.
Born
I don't think it'll
Formula
look.
One.
Yeah, I don't think it'll look as ridiculous as the Chicago race looked.
Oh, absolutely not. The Chicago race was wild. And
Yeah.
that's because of how tight it was, for sure.
But
actually, another good race series to watch if you get a chance to ever catch it. They show it on the network called MAV TV.
Mm-hmm.
Is the current iteration of Trans Am cars.
Oh yeah,
those are fun to watch. And Trackhouse campaigns a car in there too.
They come to Lime Rock, so I might have to go watch them because. Oh wait, no, because that'll be Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to Indy 500. I can't watch them this year because that's the other thing. IMSA is not going to Lime Rock in 2025.
Yeah, we
for
knew they weren't
2024,
24,
and
now they're also not.
Now also 25.
That's a bummer.
That is a super bummer. So, anyway, enough racing. What do you get for project car updates?
So Mystarian runs.
Cool.
Yep.
It runs well-ish?
Yeah. No, not even well-ish. It runs well. So
why didn't you ever get it to try it out before?
So here's what happened before, and this is my hypothesis of what went down before. So if you remember, I was trying to do something absolutely insane and fix the car in New England and drive it here after it sat for 10 years. We got it together between a combination of my father's garage and your father's garage. We put the car together and we made it drive up and down the street, and we were like, yeah. So I drove it to the gas station and I filled it with gas, and then I Exxon Valdez the gas station with fuel all over the place. So I was like, well, all done, not going to happen. One of the things that you and I did to the car before that was put a new fuel pump in it. When I brought the car here, the car wouldn't rev past 4,000 RPM. Super frustrated. I said, well, maybe the fuel pump is not strong enough. Maybe I need to relay the fuel pump and give it a full 12 volts directly from the battery. Maybe something weird is happening because it's an aftermarket Chinese fuel pump. I didn't buy a Walbro or anything crazy like that. So I dropped the tank out of the car to patch the holes that were in the top of it from mice sitting on it forever and nesting on there and peeing on it and eating the metal away. I patched all the holes. I put it back in the car. With the same fuel pump in it. The car still wouldn't rev past 4,000 RPM, but I didn't expect anything to change because I didn't make any actual mechanical changes. So then I said, well, let's clean the lines out. So I took the line off the bottom of the fuel filter and I ran the fuel pump into a bucket and just cleaned as much of the fluid out, any gunk out of the lines. It looked like it was flowing pretty good. I put a new fuel filter in it. Still wouldn't rev past $4,000. I did the dreaded TPS reset on the throttle body, which on the throttle position sensor, I guess, which is this whole ridiculous thing where you pin out different connectors and you set the dial to be between a certain ohm range. I don't remember the numbers top of my head right now. But I did that, and I think still wouldn't rev past 4,000 RPM. And then I just let it sit. And I was just frustrated. Fast forward like 2 years to now. And the difference this time is that I ran out of fuel and I replaced all the fuel in the tank with fresh gas. The fuel that I was trying to run on before was from when we put it back together in Massachusetts.
Oh, bad gas.
So again, I think we had a bad gas situation. So I fixed the water pump. I don't know if we talked about that last week. I think we did. We did because I didn't order it. So I kind of forgot to order it. So I put the new water pump in. Thankfully, on the G54B, it's outside of the timing, so you don't have to dig too deep into the motor. It's a timing chain. It's not a timing-driven water pump or anything, so it's not a difficult task to change it. The earlier Starions, like mine, are clutch fan cooled. They don't have electric fans. So a clutch fan is only held on by 4 bolts. So when you pull the clutch fan off, you have a ton of space in front of the water pump to work on it. Whereas on the later Starions, you have to take out either the radiator or that fan assembly, which is on the back of the radiator, but it's easier to pretty much take the radiator out of those. So it's a little bit more work on a later Starion. But I mean, literally, if I had just like set my mind to it and gone in there and just done it, I could have had the whole job done probably in an hour. Took a little bit longer because I had a little hard time getting the frozen gasket off of the timing cover where the water pump was against, or the timing cover, the block itself, I guess, where the water pump sits. I was trying to think of the best solvent to get that gasket to come off, and I was a little frustrated. I tried brake clean. It wasn't really touching it. I tried a few different things. Nothing was really touching it. So I was like, you know what? I don't have a die grinder. I'll just get some roll-lock discs and a die grinder because I want to buy one anyway. This is a side story, I guess. So I looked online, and I have Milwaukee tools in the garage. And Home Depot listed the Milwaukee Fuel M12, I think they are, for like $150. And I was like, you know what? That's a good tool to have around. I'm going to buy one of those. So we went to Home Depot to buy this tool, and it was $220. I was like,
what?
So it says $150 online. He's like, oh, that's a special buy. I was like, okay, I'll take the special buy. He's like, no, you have to order it online and pick it up in store.
Ah.
I was like, well, that's frustrating.
I hate
this
this
stuff. You have them here. Just sell it to me for your advertised price. He's like, no, you need to do the special buy one. I was like, oh, I don't. And this is on, I think it was last Saturday, and it wouldn't come in until Tuesday. And I was like, I'll figure out something else. I was just frustrated. I said, no, forget it. I'm all done. I don't need it that bad. So I have a hard time sometimes thinking outside the box. But because Naomi wasn't raised by our dads working on cars, she doesn't have that same there's only one way to do it vibe. And in her head, she's like, well, those roll-lock discs are plastic sandpaper essentially, right? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to use sandpaper. I don't want to use steel wool because it's an aluminum part, and that's why you use the plastic roll-lock disc.
They're just like spinning Scotch-Brite pads.
Basically, yeah. She's like, well, why don't we use the multi-tool? And I was like, what's the multi-tool going to do? I'm not cutting up tiles. And she's like, no, we have plastic sandpaper for the multi-tool, and instead of spinning, it just vibrates. And I was like, that's not a car tool. We can't do that. She's like, no, I think you should try it. So, at her suggestion, I put the plastic sandpaper with the same grit as the yellow Rolock disc on the multi-tool, took the gasket right off. A little bit of Goo Gone, multi-tool. So her thinking outside the box made it really easy to do that job. So I felt weird standing there with like a multi-tool sanding tool for wood. But at the end of the day, it's doing the same thing, right? So, and if the plastic sandpaper is the same kind of sandpaper, then what the hell's the difference?
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Yeah, it worked. So if you're ever in a pinch and it's the same kind of sanding equipment, it's just a different, instead of spinning, it vibrates. So took it right off, cleaned it right up, put a new water pump on, fired the car up. I put like 8 gallons of fresh gas in it. Car runs beautiful. It revved to, I didn't want to kill it sitting there just idling, but I revved it up well past $4,000, like 5,500 or so. It made boost. It did everything. It made good turbo noises. Car ran great. So it's been sitting for so long. All the parts inside are all just covered in dust. So I'm going through it and cleaning all the interior pieces that are all unbolted, because right now all it has is the front seats bolted in place and no console, no carpet, no door panels. So I got to rebuild the whole console and put the carpet in, the door panels on, and then I'm just going to drive it until the guy who wants to buy it back is like, okay, I'm ready to buy it back. So that's where I'm at. So I'm actually
Neat.
pretty stoked on it. I'm hoping this weekend I'll have the interior back in it, and it's going to need some tires, because the tires that are on it are snow tires that I purchased in 2009.
Oh.
So they're a little old, and one of them won't hold air anyway. But so I'm not going to buy a brand new set of tires for it, because I'm probably going to be getting rid of it. So I'll probably just go down to the Lantera here and get a used set of something used and old, just to throw on it, just to drive around town. I'm not going to take any road trips, just drive around, close enough to my house probably. Just enjoy it for a little bit, and I don't want to spend $1,000 in tires. So thankfully we have the Lanteras on every other street corner out here that sell $25 used tires. As long as I can find 15s.
Nice.
I'm sure I can. But yeah, no, I'm stoked. That's one more car that runs. So that means I'm technically only down to 2 that don't run that are mine, and Naomi's Mustang, which we have an engine en route. So we pulled the cover off that the other day too, and she got to work with the metal cutoff wheel, and somebody at some point had put a tow bar on the front of it and towed it behind an RV. I think it was her grandparents. So it had a big metal bar welded to the front frame rails. So she made, I'd like to say quick work, but it took a long time because it was solid steel and quite a few blades. But she cut through that and got that off the car. So that gives us more access to the engine, and also makes it so when you walk in front of the car, you don't knock your legs on the receivers for the pins. So everything's going along. We got the correct tint black paint for under the hood, so we can start repainting all that before we put the engine in. So much progress is happening. It took a long time to get there this summer or winter, I guess. Sorry. It took a long time to get there this winter just because the eclipse kind of set me back and put me in a automotive funk. But the eclipse parts are now finally all ordered. Everything should be here in the next few days. Theoretically, I'll have the timing cover here because he's supposed to be here this weekend. So I should have everything to put the car together by next weekend, and hopefully I can put it together next weekend. So
That's
so
good.
close on so many things. Yep.
Yeah,
How about you?
I
You get
was
there yet, or is it still wintertime there?
I was about to. I got the Montero out, and I was using that, and I was like, "Oh, it's almost there." But it's that we're talking about the weather again. It's been super cold the last like 2 or 3 days, like wintertime cold. So I haven't really wanted to like back the Galant out of the garage.
Right.
And then this weekend's gonna be rainy down here and snowy, so they'll probably salt again. Maybe, I don't know.
Gross.
So it's still one more week of March, lousy smarch. But probably in another week or so, I'll get the Galant out and check on it.
I think the Revival Boys are doing a donut meet next weekend.
I was wondering, I needed to look into that. I also need to double check what weekend that is, because we've got the solar eclipse coming up too that I want to go see. That's in northern New England.
Oh, that's right too.
Yep. So
Yeah, they posted it the other day on their Instagram, but it wasn't a story, and now it's gone. So
yeah,
I think it's next weekend.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm waiting on to do stuff like that.
Excellent.
Almost there, so close.
So close, you can almost taste it.
But I figured my project was I waxed up skis. I'd never done that before, so
Sunday the 7th, I think, is their donut meet.
okay. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, but don't.
The eclipse
don't
is the
quote me on
8th,
that.
so I'll be up northern New England somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, there's always the next one. Are you guys doing
Yeah,
an off-road
but
trip for that?
I don't know what we're doing. I got to figure out. Yeah, that's the thing. These eclipses are like, I don't know how many years. Like, I can't. There's definitely never been one for us in New England ever in our lifetime.
Sure.
And this is a one that has totality, so it'd be really weird to see. I guess I've seen like video of them, but it like gets like almost complete darkness in the middle of the day, which feels like that would be a really strange feeling.
Yeah, it'll be trippy.
So I'd like to experience that. Yeah, but anyway, there's some sad news out of the Mitsubishi world.
There is. Yeah, we can't not talk about that.
Yeah, Kenjiro Shinozuka, right?
Kenjiro
Shinozuka passed away. Legendary Mitsubishi driver.
For sure. The first non-European to ever win the Dakar Rally.
Yep. A couple things I learned about him. Last couple years, he'd been active on social media. He's been trying to go back to race in Africa and raising money by selling some paraphernalia and stuff. Like I bought some diecast from him, or whoever's running his store.
Yeah, his manager is apparently still running that stuff because he posted today.
Yep.
So I want to get some of those always challenge stickers.
If you want to buy some more, yeah, you probably should, because I think some of the money they ended up the last time they did it. He has a school named after him in Senegal.
He has more than a school named after him. He donated the school.
Okay.
So if you dig into the story a little deeper, Dakar and the area meant so much to him because it's what brought him success and money. Winning Dakar is huge, obviously. He used his winnings, so he won in 1997.
Yep. Outright,
and he used his winnings because obviously Dakar is not a wealthy place, and he purchased and paid for and bought a school. He built a school for the community with the winnings from his Dakar rally.
Okay.
Talk about a philanthropist.
Yeah. So one of the last times I bought stuff, that money was going towards the school, they said.
Yes. Yep.
But the few times I bought stuff, I actually have 3 autographed hero cards from him. So if you I don't know if they'll have any left. If you don't get one, I have one for you.
Excellent. That's
So,
very cool. Yeah, we put
I
a
have
post
one. I
on
actually have
Scale
one framed.
Autocast.
Yeah, I have one framed that's on my wall. I'm looking at it right now because it's so cool.
Yeah, we
did
put
that a while
post
ago.
on Scale Autocast because between the two of us, we had 6 different diecast Kenjiro Shinazuka cars. That man has driven all of our favorite cars.
Yep.
Like he started in 1970 rallying,
Yep.
and he quickly went to Mitsubishi's and he was driving Lancers, which are Colts. So a lot of the mid 70s Mitsubishi Lancer Colts that you see were driven by either Andrew Cowan or the Flying Sikh, Jodinger Singh, or Kenjiro Shinazoku. So he drove a couple of different Lancers through the Africa Safari Rally, the Southern Cross Rally in Australia, a couple other rallies in Japan.
The guy loved long distance rallies. Like that was his specialty.
He drove early flat-side Starions in the same rallies. He drove Galant VR4s, and he drove Pajeros.
He won the Ivory Coast rally.
Yeah, in the Galant VR4.
Yep.
Yeah, if you go down the list of cars that Andrew and I have owned over the years, chances are pretty good Kenjiro raced one of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's a lesser known rally driver because he never competed in like WRC, but he was very successful. He never competed in like a full season of WRC.
Yeah, he did several rounds of WRC, but he did win Ivory Coast, which was a round of WRC.
Correct. What I'm saying is he never was he never ran a full season, so he was never.
It wasn't a Tommy Mäkinen or Carlos Sainz level or Claude McRae.
Yeah, but he was a very, very accomplished rally driver. And like I said, the man used his rally winnings to build a school for less fortunate children in Africa. So how can you knock that guy?
He had a, I mean, it still exists, but he owned a little hotel kind of bed and breakfast type thing. I got that card too with the stuff.
Very cool.
And what else? I forgot what I was going to talk about with him. It was some cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if his stuff still supports the school, I'll gladly buy some stuff from them. I unfortunately, I never did. Just never worked out that I was in a position to buy some of the stuff when it was for sale.
It wasn't inexpensive because of the shipping from Japan.
Sure.
But it was worth it to me at the time. I've got several books, Japanese language books that have interviews with him. Those Mitsubishi Motorsports books I love to talk about. One of them, they're on my desk right here. I don't want to open them up to look through. But one of them's got a full interview in English with him. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. Maybe you can scan it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was only 75 years old. He was trying to get up and do another Dakar or
Africa Eco
Rally.
Race is
Africa
the
Eco
spiritual
Race,
successor of Dakar in Africa, because now Dakar is just in Saudi Arabia.
Correct. So yeah, he's trying to do the Eco Race, but unfortunately he passed from, was it pancreatic cancer?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was on Monday. And I had been meaning to put one of those Kenjiro stickers on the Galant, so I put it on the other day.
Yeah, I want to get one for the Colt for sure. So, moving on a little bit, unfortunately, to more sad news. We had another automotive legend die this week as well. Marcello Gandini.
Oh, the
designer
of
Testarossa.
Testarossa, yes.
Yep. Oof,
no,
oof.
Lamborghinis.
Scratch that. Countach is what I meant to say.
What's wrong with you? But I agree with you because I couldn't remember.
I'm so sad. I'm just so sad. So many cars. The Countach is obviously probably his most well-known thing that he designed, for sure. But do you know what else that man designed?
No.
Okay. Well, I had to look up a list the other day because I was curious what other, Gandini cars there were, because all these guys don't have one car. He didn't work for Lamborghini. He had his like design studio. So he designed the EB110,
Yeah.
the Ferrari 308 GT4,
Whoa.
the De Tomaso Pantera,
Nice.
the Alfa Romeo Montreal,
Oh.
the Lancia Stratos,
Wow.
a bunch of Lamborghinis, the Iraqo, the Miura, the Yarma, the Espada, the Volkswagen Polo, the first Polo, the Renault 5 Turbo,
Oh, okay.
the Fiat X19,
Jeez.
Isogrifos, like the Cesetta Marauder, and my personal favorite, the Autobianchi A112.
Oh, yeah.
Like so many cars that were designed by him. And when you think about it, they all kind of have a very similar, wedge shape, except for cars like the Miura. The Miura is one of the most loved car designs of all time, and that was one of his. So he designed the first BMW 5 Series, like the late 70s E12.
Oh, okay.
Mid 70s E12. Like just so many wild cars. So yeah, unfortunately, he passed at age 85, a little earlier this month as well. So yeah, two legendary. One, I guess Marcello Gandini is probably more well known than Kenjiro, but in our world, two pretty legendary car people. So sad week for car people.
Yeah, bummer.
Big bummer. But at least, hey, one was 75, one was 85. They both lived pretty good lives. Made it to pretty close to, I guess, the average age, right? So
Yep.
don't be sad. Remember they existed. And at least both of them have quite a legacy. So getting these cars will be on the road forever. And Kenjiro's school is still teaching kids. So anyway, let's go out on a happy note. Henry, what do we got next?
I got a quick little game to finish up the podcast.
Okay.
I call it race car driver or cars character.
You kind of teased this concept to me earlier this week. And I said, well, you're going to have to be the guy who asks the questions because you have a small child at home and you have seen Cars 1, 2, and 3, as well as all of the Cars universe spinoffs, way more than I have. So I think you would be at a distinct advantage if we were the one guessing this.
I have a couple softballs so you understand how the game works. So let's do this one.
Is there
a race car driver? Maybe.
I feel like we should purchase the rights to Life is a Highway.
Okay. No. All right. Here's an easy one. Race car driver or Cars character? Max Power.
Simpsons character. Is that an easy one? Willpower is a race car driver. So Max Power must be a Cars character.
Nope. I already messed up the game. I forgot the guy's name. I thought it was Willpower. I thought it was Max Power.
Max Power is Homer Simpson's alter ego.
That's right.
And he does not abbreviate when he gets his monogrammed robes. It says Max Power across them.
Yeah, I forgot it was Willpower. So I'm an idiot.
Well, this game's off to a rip-roaring good start.
It is. It is really good. So, yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
It was a softball.
Down in flames.
All right. I expected a softball and I got a basketball. I don't know what happened there.
All right. This one should be obvious. I won't mess this one up. Race car driver or Cars character, Chick Hicks.
Chick Hicks is a Cars character.
There you go.
And he's based on Harry Gant. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know he was based on.
I'm pretty sure he's based on Harry Gant because he's the green, like basically Monte Carlo with a mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
hopefully
could be wrong with that. But my guess is he's based on Harry Kent.
I don't know. All right. Let me try not to mess this up again.
Okay.
Okay. Race car driver or Cars character? Greg Candyman.
Jesus Christ. Uh, that sounds almost too suggestive to be a Cars character. So that's going to be a real race car driver.
It's a Cars character. In the first movie, a Piston Cup racer. It must be one of the background cars. It just looks like a gingerbread car.
Okay. I'm into it.
All right.
Well, I got one wrong, so this game obviously is working.
Yeah. Okay. Race car driver or Cars character? Billy Boat.
Race car driver.
You're right.
I only know
Billy
that
Boat.
because of Billy Boat exhaust.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't know otherwise. Billy Boat exhaust is like expensive Porsche exhaust.
Oh, okay. But he was a NASCAR driver.
Maybe it's not related to the Billy Boat Porsche exhaust.
Oh, but you got there.
But yeah, it's Billy Boat exhaust.
Yep.
It's fairly well known in the
I know.
the Porsche world. I guess go Corvettes. Yeah, Corvettes, Porsche,
Yeah,
CTS.
Corvettes. Yeah, I don't know.
It was based right here in Phoenix. It's gone now.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Okay, so Billy Boat, born February 2nd, 1966. Former IndyCar Series driver from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, so it must be the same guy.
Of course, this is this stock car racing wiki is incorrect. 'Cause it's Phoenix AR, which is
Arkansas.
unless it's Phoenix, Arkansas. Is that a place?
I don't think it's a thing. And
Yeah.
being as the exhaust company is based here.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Arizona. I think that's a fair bet. I don't know of another Phoenix.
I don't either, and I'm going to go with that. That is the
Yeah.
same Billy Boat then.
He is a one-time champion of that series and has competed in one Xfinity Series event that came in 2003.
Huh. So he's not really a NASCAR driver.
He drove an NASCAR race, but he's a race car driver. So that's the
Billy
game.
Boat's website. So the
Yep.
company still exists, but the sales room here is no longer open. But it says right on it that Billy Boat has learned a few things about performance, whether it's leading the field as the fastest qualifier in the Indy 500 or leading a team of highly skilled fabricators. So it is
Weird.
one
I
and the
didn't
same.
intentionally pick that because I knew it was Billy Boat Exhaust. It was just a funny name. That could be
Yeah.
like Billy the Boat in Cars
that
World.
would be a Cars 3 character with the spy. That was the name of the boat they were driving.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I just had two, but maybe we'll play some more in the future, and I won't mess it up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was pretty good. I was 50-50 for the ones you got right, and I got the right one that you got wrong, even though you got it wrong. So I guess I win.
Yeah.
What do I win?
Nothing.
Ah,
I get a stereo that runs for you. It's in your yard.
perfect. It's even titled to me already. Also, apparently it's still registered. I forgot. I thought it was not registered, but it's still registered.
No, it has the correct number of digits in the VIN. So
Right, but I thought I pulled it off of the Haggerty policy because it was costing me too much money. And then we used it because I needed a car that was registered in my name on my own insurance policy that wasn't under Haggerty in order to keep the Haggerty policy. So I have it under a Liberty Mutual policy just to keep my Haggerty policy because they wouldn't accept the Eclipse because the Eclipse is on Naomi's insurance policy, which is in her name, because we got a decent deal on it because she has family military history and it's through USAA. But since my name wasn't the primary, they would not accept that. So I had to get a secondary policy for.
You're like Rob Gronkowski. Can't get AAA, whatever it is.
Rob Gronkowski, yes.
Yeah.
Nope. Can't get it. Can't get USAA. So, anyway. Cool. Well, that's podcasting, Andrew.
It is. So, as always, keep your cars analog and aim for the roses.